find programs that allow the parents to acquire the skill to not only help their child, to empower their child, but also help themselves in the workforce, to also help themselves to be a better leader. And this is where we can leverage the dynamics of corporate CSR money. You stretch up in the sky, stretch, oh, and I want you to go down and touch your foot if you can, go, oh, okay, and I want you to come up like a 5-year-old. Because I need you to be at genius level. Remember, today we learned through the George Land, 5 years old is the genius level. And I need you to be at the genius level because I don't have that much time and there's a long talk. Okay? And I want you to turn to the person that's right next to you and I want you to high five him like you're a 5-year-old. Let's go. High five. All right, now have a seat, please. Okay, good. Now we're all 5-year-old again, and we could be crazy. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about childcare, early childcare, and learning as the baseline for sustainable education. I just want to quickly, this is not for shameless self-promotion, but I want you to see the framework that I'm going to be presenting to you. Just from 2018, I presented this framework for interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary methodology. I presented for K-12 community wellness. I presented for gender development. I present this framework for indigenous innovation and the innovation of the arts. I presented at the Asian Connect Extension Development One Framework Conference. This is where I met Dr. Vuti, who sat right by my side. He's the Deputy Director for Early Child Development. We act like 2 5-year-olds because we were operating at the genius level. And he asked me, can your framework for extension development be applied for early child development? And I said, yes. The reason why is that it came from child development. So, this is my 30 years in search of excellence. When I was 16, I started one of the first martial arts school, the largest martial arts school in the Bay Area, which is really pretty big. I started the first new media studio, using all digital technology, doing work for DDB Needham, some of the largest advertising agency, which I got bought out, and then I became an associate art director and creative director for them. And then from there, I left new media because the internet came out, and I went directly to the JavaSoft team, the people that created the programming language at Sun Microsystem. And there I did research on user interface. And then from there I went to education technology. Then I realized that that wasn't enough. I went back to new media research. And some of these organizations, like I said, it goes on. It'll be online so you can look at it later because I only have 15 minutes, okay? So enough self-promotion. Okay, so now, quickly, let me explain. What is the WOW Regenerative Framework? Now, the WOW Regenerative Framework has 3 levels. One is the instructional framework, the other one is a personal framework, and the third one is the community framework. And these has been presented at APEC, it's been used for UNESCO program, it's been used for Felix program, for sustainable and regenerative development. Now, you heard of sustainability, but regenerative is a pretty new word. And what regenerative means to us, it's like this. Beyond sustainability, why regenerative? We're facing an existential crisis. 150 to 200 species of plant, insects, and birds, and mammal are becoming extinct every 24 hours. We're looking at suicide among 15 to 24-year-olds are the second cause of death in the world. That's pretty serious. Okay? So to us, if I could break it down, this framework, what is it? It's intelligence, creativity, and well-being, which we call dynamic wellness. Okay, in the simplest form, dynamic wellness. Okay, so regenerative framework, how do we do this? We use this word often, hyper-priming sustainability, simplifying energetic for action. Because unlike sustainability, regenerative means you have to do it. Sustainability is easy to do, but regenerative is simple to share. How do we easily share this? Because it's easy to do it, but how do I share it? Because it needs to be regenerative, especially at the critical mass that we're dealing with right now. So we use the word hyper-prime. Hyper is used for unusual, energetic. I'm not usually this energetic after lunch. but I copied the professor from Auckland, and I took a cup of coffee, and now I'm really hyper energetically. Okay? And then priming, which is a substance that prepare you something for use or action. So an energy for action is the word you'll use. And I explained to you what hyperpriming is. Hyperpriming, the first hyperprime that we always talk about is to take action. How do we take action? So on one level is to inspire and reduce rigidity, and the other one is how to reduce ambiguity that inhibit action from conflict. And we took these two Venn diagram, and we created this would be the hyperprime. You understand what it is? Hyperprime is the means, the medium between the two dynamics. And figure out what is the common thread between the two, and that's the hyperprime, because that's what we need to take action. Okay? So, education context, purpose of education is student and success. Outcome is oriented formula, good grade, good school, good career that fulfill demand, economic growth, right? And so the demand would be regenerative action for environmental well-being and resource are the highest of global demands right now. There is nowhere that you're going in the public or the private sector that doesn't use the word sustainability. Okay? So from here, my research goes into early childhood as the baseline for sustainable education. What does that mean? What we have is that these are the 7 priorities. Am I correct? So the reason social emotional learning is the most dynamic for sustainable development. So if this is social and emotional learning, then technically it's the operating system. The child's operating system can go all into it. It can hyperprime into anything. You know, this is why we listen to the professor from Ireland. It's like, we should give the power to the kids. Because why? By George Line Longitude study, when he's 5, he's 98. 98% genius. So technically, we should go to the genius for the answer. And what's that mean? I'm not saying that every kid is a genius, but we can tap into this genius. That's why I try to make you guys become that 5-year-old again. Huh?
Then we are genius.
Yeah, we get close to that genius. Don't be so optimistic. So there are days where I'm more like the 2%. Okay, but yes, let's assume that's going to be the case. So then, you know, and Jordan, Professor Jordan, it's talked about the solution is to be like a 5-year-old. That's his solution. Find a way to connect into being this 5-year-old, whatever that takes, through intelligence, well-being, and creativity. And this is how you get there, because this is how we're going to solve the problem, the sustainability problem. So, social emotional learning, hyperpriming framework. Well, these are the 7 meta. Universality is wellness. Integrated is creativity. Transformative is leadership. Dynamic is being current. What's going on right here, right now. Regenerative, which is sharing. Inspiring, which is togetherness. And then, of course, everybody knows playful fun. That's the baseline. We don't get things done unless it's fun. Even Einstein said genius comes from this playfulness. Intelligence with fun is genius. So we cannot excuse fun and playfulness as that. And if you work with the EEC, the CECCEP group, their genius level of fun. Always fun. And I, you know, in the short time I got to know you, it was fun. So, social and emotional learning experience shape the self. So what does that mean? That means that through what we've learned through behavioral science, through neuroscience, through molecular biology, through cognitive study, to multiple intelligence study, that has shown us that experience shapes us. If I gave you the right experience, it defines you who you are. Forget about learning. Learning is just something that we call it. Otherwise, especially a child, they're learning all the time. Everything is learning. So what part is learning? How am I not learning? You know? So, and if you're a 5-year-old right now, you wouldn't be critiquing so much. You'd be like, yeah, I'm learning. Imagine if you're a real 5-year-old right now, you wouldn't be critiquing me at all. If you're a real genius right now, you'd be like, yeah, I believe you. So, there are 3 types, right? First type of modality is experience is social emotion. Second type is interdisciplinary experience. And the third is outcome-based experience. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through it. And like I said, all this is connecting, is hyperpriming. When I'm saying this to you, your mind is going out there getting data and coming back. Going out there, is that true? Go back, go out, and you're connecting to all your experience. So, if I show you an experience that you can relate to, this is what you're going to come back with, that knowledge. Learning gives us tomorrow workforce a tool for success, while educators find it contributing to the increased academic success. Beyond the immediate outcome of the classroom, social emotional learning prepare employees to solve problems, manage emotion, and communicate better. This is not just for children, it's for all of us. Okay? So what type of modality? First one is the modality of experiences. So what we got here is, first modality at the core is we are aesthetic, right? The sensory. Touch, smell. Did anybody smell this room? Can anybody take a whiff of this room? What does it smell like? You know, smell is the #1 change of consciousness. You know, you smell something bad, you're like, oh. You know? So, all your sensory. Then the second part is your perceptual, your memory, your association, your preference of things. That's what's judging anything in your life, all the experience in your life. Oh, I don't like it that way. That's not how I used to do it. I prefer it this way. I remember this is how I used to do it. These are all your perceptual that is connecting with you. Then your social and culture, that plays a big part with you. Like in Bali, what has really changed in the social culture, that has really changed the Balinese ways of life, which is sustainable, is when a child's born, they have Antanan, which is, he has a birthday with all his livers and lungs and all his organs. That's how he celebrates the Balinese birthday. And then recently, he celebrates the birthday where he gets presents. That changes you. So celebrations of culture change you. And then nature. Of course, you know, when you come to Bali, why you love Bali so much, right? Because it's nature. You love Bali because it's not all concrete building. There's no building taller than the coconut tree. You know? Yeah, I love Bali. So nature plays. But if we look at all level and different scales of experience, then you realize here's internal, which is cellular quotient, cellular intelligence. How your body feel, right? And you notice when you get old and your body don't feel good, forget about IQ and EQ. If cellular go, then you're down. Then you move up to the individuals with the emotional quotient. But nowadays, we're driving organization and we're driving systemic. Education is all systemic. You're teaching at the systemic level, so now you're pushing IQ all the time. And you're removed from the EQ to the CQ. Okay, the cellular intelligence, as we know it. And if you ask the children, you work with children, you know about their body, you know, their cellular intelligence, they know it really well. They operate it really well. They're connected to it. Okay, and then the other one is a transdisciplinary model. For us, or for my case study for a long time, is focused in this area, creative arts, so that way it can interconnect. It's the glue. If it's creativity, that's why it can connect. 2, if it's technology for multiple intelligence. 3 is permaculture. It's the way we connect with culture. It's the way that we connect with nature. And this is permanent culture. Nature is permanent culture. Think about that. We are not permanent culture. Nature is. So how do we connect? If you want to transcend to a permanent connection to the planet, we should forget about just transcultural between Asian country. Let's first transcultural, or meet me at the permanent culture. And when we meet there, then it's easier to connect, okay? And then the last is motivational art. Motivational art kind of derived from like martial art. But we decided not to make it so martial art, and we use it like Qigong, Tai Chi, theater arts to help the child motivate. How do we motivate the child without having to tell them what to do? So we call it motivational art. And then the other one is active learning. At the beginning, let's help our kid learn for themselves. That's what we want, right? We complain to our children, why don't you ever grow up? But we never give them the opportunity to learn from themselves. Everything we tell them what to do, how to do it, what to do, why to do it, what time to do it. But we don't say, hey, what do you want to do? So there's a lot of things that the professor from Auckland said that I fully agree. Just give it to them. Yeah, allow them. And then, don't just connect there, but connect this self-centered design between parents and teachers. Now, you see, if you look at these 5, 2 transdisciplinary, they're going in parallel. And when they connect, it's the technology. The technology color and the active learning color of the student and the teacher is the same. Same with here. Technology and active learning, they're the same. Because that's the connection. Nowadays with modern day, you can tell the teacher exactly what's going on with little Tien. What's going on with Tien today? Last night he didn't get this. Teacher gets it, knows. We can create curriculum this way. We can share information this way. So to me, it's not just about sharing, not using technology or enabling technology, but how do we use it effectively between parents and students. Otherwise, parents are busy too. You act like, oh yeah, we're going to provide all this cool stuff for parents, and then go, yeah, sure, I'm going to go do it. I got all the time in the world. No. The reason why the world is the way it is today is the parents are working. We forgot to teach the children what to do. We forgot to teach them the local wisdom that our parents taught us. And in the local wisdom that our parent taught us, it's all the stuff that quantum physics is talking about. It's all the stuff that we should have known, but now we don't know it. So now we have to go back to science, cognitive study, neuroscience, to connect back into the child and tell them, no, that's not how it works. So this relationship is very important. But think about it. You see all these skills here, these transdisciplinary skills, it also helps the parents become a better person. It also helps the parent become a better leader. We must define programs that allow the parents to acquire the skill to not only help their child, to empower their child, but also help themselves in the workforce, to also help themselves to be a better leader. And this is where we can leverage the dynamics of corporate CSR money. If you come to my facility and Director Dewey and CECCEP team came by yesterday, our learning center is in a 5-star hotel. It will be the best 5-star experience that you will ever see. And we pay nothing for it. Because why? The same skill that we're teaching the kids, we're teaching it to the parents, to the management team, to researcher, to use in everyday life skills and living skills. Because why? It's all human science. The same stuff that stuff that we're trying to teach that genius kid, you guys are only 2%. It's nothing. These are outcome-based learning model that is out there. These are collaborative disciplinary will that you can collaborate together. All you have to do is spin this wheel and figure out how you connect in at the playfulness, at all the interdisciplinary. So depending on who your community, you can define the wheel, and then you can work with one another to fulfill that obligation. All right, okay, dynamic wellness. Like I said, nowadays with brain science, we can prove that when you bite into the thing that you love to eat the most, it's as dynamic as meditation. But it's a shorter amount. But nowadays when we eat, we're not thinking about how great our food is. We're worrying about what our meeting is. Time is up. This is gone. We're not like, oh, I'm meditating. Yeah, if I got time to sit here and meditate, it's easy. But why don't we use meditation by enjoying our food? So that's dynamic wellness. This is the same creativity in every day. Like I said, every experience is creativity. This is my son. Okay? I'm sharing with you right now from not as a researcher, but from a parent. Okay? These are slides from the parent. This is my son. So when he was young, we would write out everything that he liked to do during that day or that week. And what this does is that it helps him reflection. Nowadays with brain science, we've proven that if a child reflects on what happened in that experience, it's hyper-learning. It's hyper-learning. He doesn't need to learn nothing. He just needs to think what happened. And it doesn't mean that you need to use language. You can reaffirm with him with his favorite blanket, with his favorite toy, with his favorite things, and just reaffirm that. That's the lesson. What is the genius like? Let's reaffirm that genius in him, and he's learning. And we can prove that now with all brain science. Okay? Here, same with connection with intelligence. Every experience, every positive reflection, every relationship with everything, because for him, Everything is learning. If you understand the framework that we're sharing with you, and we can show you what the interdisciplinary is, then you just connect to it. And then we're creating apps right now where you can fill it in. And then you can just show him. I mean, that's Facebook. If you use it like I use it, it's technically, I'm hyper-priming all my intelligence. Because every time I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. That was wonderful. Yeah. And this reaffirmed who I am. Same, we can do this with a child, especially within today's technology. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, interactive. Okay, I just want this last slide. I think this is important. Right now, with a lot of technology, we're so worried about our kids, right? Everybody's so worried about kids, but you got to remember, this is the most dynamic tool of our children. They love it. And technically, they love it so much because of the designers, because I used to be the UI designer, so I know. We use all the multiple intelligence, all the social emotional intelligence to get your child to play that game. So technically, parents, instead of being afraid of it, watch them play the game. Watch what they like. Ask them what they like about it. Write it down to match the framework that we're sharing with you, which is a social emotional framework. And then after you've done that, you know exactly what your child wants in the social emotional intelligence. Then you migrate that to real experience. Now, I've done tests. If you give a person a virtual reality of love or a real reality of love, which one are you going to choose? That's a silly question. The problem today is that we're no longer connected to our child. We're out of control, and that we don't use the tool to work with him. And so we judge this tool. But technically, if you can give him real social, emotional learning experience of his game, he would rather have that. But we don't know how to look at the game and see it. So, like I said, must go back to the social, emotional learning framework. This is why I'm here. I'm so sorry. Okay, regenerative theme. So technically, the 7 themes here, if it's used through a social, emotional framework and through hyper-priming, you can connect to all the partnership. All these, so these are all the different partnership that WOW has, and there are all these type of framework. And okay, like I said, I am not just an educator, I am a parent, and this framework is not about the kids, but this framework is about children give us a chance to be better. So this girl right here is my proof, this girl named Jazz. At the age of 15, she was asked to present at the Asian Youth Congress, and the topic was on Asian economic security, because she's already had 3 social enterprises. And if don't believe me, don't ask me the question. Here she is right here filming, okay? So, on break, ask her any question that you may have and see if I did my job or not. Okay, is this true? Okay, thank you very much for coming today. Yeah.